the scooter, and then I missed the scooter sober several times.
You know what? You had the big wheel, and it's a sitting one.
I did have the big wheel. That would have been hilarious. I released an episode out of the commercial we made.
You're going to release it, or you actually
already
released
did.
it? Man, I cannot keep up with anything.
I know.
At this point, since the whole toe COVID debacle.
Yeah, we've been just a traveling shit show, haven't we?
I cannot keep anything together. Like, I'm trying to find my notes that we had.
Did you get the email I sent you this morning?
I got it this morning, yeah.
Okay, good.
That saved my butt because...
Well, I had tagged you in on it originally, and then I was like, I wonder if you got it because everything got so hacked. I'm going to send it again.
No, that was okay, here it is. So today, when we talk about the Sound Pollution Podcast show, I think we should just tell them what the lineup is going to be and who's going to be playing when.
Okay. Do you want to do it at the beginning or the end?
Okay, I'm cool with however you want to do it. I don't have a preference. I just kind of want to talk about it, kind of give some more details. Okay.
Well, we're already recording and they've heard some of that. So what details would you like to give, my lovely friend?
So, hey, thanks for joining us today. We're going to be talking a little bit about the Sound Pollution Podcast show that we will be having in Texas at the Carousel.
Stoked.
So, that should be pretty cool. Should be a cool, fun show. I'm going to go ahead and give you the lineup.
Just do it.
So, it's happening on Wednesday, October 26th.
No, I'm not doing this month again. Start over.
Well, it'll just be the last half of the month. But anyway, so the podcast pollution. Oh, man.
You know what? I'm going to leave all of this in and just insert little. This is good times. This is real life. This just doesn't just happen. Go ahead. Try again.
So the Sound Pollution Podcast show at the Carousel will be held on Wednesday, October 26th. We go live in your face in Sucara if you speak Spanish at 7 p.m. Approximately at 7:05, Uncle Brent will be your acoustic fluffer. So, and then at 7:20, we're going to have Round Rock Rick and his big old stick up there playing.
Nope.
8:10, we're going to have Andy and Thumper. And how they're going to perform is kind of a mystery because it could be Andy and then Thumper and then Andy and Thumper, or it could be Thumper and Andy.
Probably. One of those two.
It's going to be some kind of...
They're going to be fun. It's all that matters.
Some kind of cool thing. And then at 9:30, you have Uncle Brent and the No Stone, full band, in your face, coming at you. And then the closing, Trashy Annie, she'll start at 10:30, and she'll take us home. So other than that, I hope y'all guys can come.
Man, you better come out. Come see us.
Yeah, come to the show. But it's going to be fun. Beer is really inexpensive there.
Ooh, that's a. I did not know that.
There is a circus. There is circus theme for you to enjoy and take pictures at. There's an elephant you can touch. There's an elephant in the room.
There is legitimately an elephant in the room, and we're all going to talk about it.
Uh-huh.
When I see that backdrop, I don't think of, like, the circus thing. I think of, God, remember in the original Dumbo, where he's, like, he gets drunk off the water that has alcohol in it, and he's, like, seeing all the elephants and woozles? I still think we all should have done some sort of costume thing. It's so close to, we could have done, like, a whole 3-ring circus thing.
We could have.
We could have got you a top hat.
You could have. I'll still be wearing a hat.
Somebody shot me down on that, so.
I don't know who that was. I can't even imagine. Cannot even imagine.
Where are the proceeds going to?
They're going in my back pocket.
I wish, but no.
We also take credit cards, so feel free to drop those in the tip jar. Unfortunately, you will not get them back, but don't worry. The credit will be spent very well.
We'll raise that credit score for you.
Mm-hmm. We
and
sure will. As long as you pay the bill, everything will be all right, people.
Hey, I want to give a real quick shout out to Andy.
Yeah! Sorry.
I was because I've missed a lot of work due to this, and then I got quietly fired. So I was really struggling because I wanted to stay with Brent, but I wanted to, and I'm still gonna come see you. I'm gonna annoy you. That's the goal. But initially, I wanted to be near the venue, and so I per Brent's request, he was like, "Well, find out where they're staying," and of course, they were staying somewhere I could not afford. And, somewhere
Rich
cool with like
bastards.
It was like a pool and a gym and shit. And I was like, yeah, so is there a Motel 6 near that? And he was like, why? And I'm like, 'cause I'm trying to be near. And then he shot back, him and his wife used their credit card points to, get me a room for a few nights. So I'm going to hang out over there and peruse Austin. And I thought that was very sweet, and I just wanted to say thank you to them, because they didn't need to do that.
Yeah, thank you guys. That's very sweet.
It was very sweet.
I have to tell you about the Saxon Club show.
Okay, yes.
Today. And everything building up to that. So I don't know.
Pictures look great, by the way.
I don't know if you want to keep this in here or put it in another episode, but here goes. So, as you know, the Saxon Pub is like the premier venue in Austin. Everyone that's a good musician wants to be there, and everyone that sucks wants to be there, because that's just the place to be. I hadn't played there since 2019, and so finally, I got my shot. She booked us, and I go to tell my band, and the following week, my drummer says he has cancer. And so he's not going to be able to do it. So I shit a brick in my pants, and then after I change my pants, I go and start looking for another drummer. So I find this drummer, and we bring him in to practice, and Lord bless his little heart. He was just like the little engine that could. Aww. That I wouldn't. So I kind of hired him, but then I told him, no. Thank you for practicing, though. Here's some money that I don't have. And then, so I found this other guy, and he was like really good, and he made it to 2 practices, and I was like, yes. And then my guitarist gets COVID, so he can't practice. The next week, trying to schedule a practice, the drummer goes, I can't do it. I hurt my leg. And so I'm like, okay. Thinking, because we still had 2 more practices available, to practice and get ready for the show. So we missed that one. And I was like, okay, everyone just stay at home and study and, do what you need to do to get your shit together.
Hold on just a second. Sound Animal, are you there?
I am, yeah. Hi.
Hi, sorry. He was in the middle. Just let him finish the story, because now I need to know the ending. Sorry, honey. Go ahead.
So this is the 3rd drummer for this one show. So he's hurt his foot, but he's like, I'll be better next week. So on Monday, I book the rehearsal studio so we can go in there and practice. And he texts me and goes, I still can't do it. I'm still swollen. He was talking about his leg. People,
and that was
your mind out of the gutters.
That was the same week as the show?
No, this is the week before the show.
Still not good. Go ahead.
We end up having practice, and we're just doing it to a drums. We're practicing to a drum machine. We're not doing it to a drum machine. We're practicing. And because he can't do it, but he's there because he owns the facility. And it's true, he looks like shit. So, anyway, I said, he goes, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this show. And I'm thinking in my head, fuck, because since COVID and your toe, everything has to be total shit.
It can't be easy, man.
It can't be. No. So basically I said, let's wait till tomorrow. So he texts me. I text him the next day, hey, how you doing? And he goes, I can't do the show. And I'm like, fine. And I've asked everyone I know. Everyone's either booked or there's something wrong with their toe. So anyway, he finds this guy and I hire this guy on Saturday for a show that's on Tuesday.
Oh my God.
This guy is playing all weekend long, Monday, and then our show. So we don't even get to practice with him. I've never met him. I'm asking all my musical friends, hey, does this dude,
do you know this dude
play?
Right.
And they're all going like, Ray's like, not helpful at all. He goes, well, this is going to be a shit show. I'm going to have to be there.
Ray.
He goes, I'm going to heckle the fuck out of you.
Oh, and he would.
And yes, he would. But I heckle back. But anyway, so I meet him the night of the show, like an hour before we have to go on.
Oh, no.
But he's cool.
Okay,
He's a nice guy. Now, if he can only keep a rhythm is what I'm saying in my head. So I told him, hey, the venue has everything we need. Just bring what you need as a drummer. So when we get in there, they no longer have a house drum set. And he only has his cymbals, sticks, and his snare.
No way.
Fuck yeah. And so I shit my pants again because this is just ridiculous. And to put this on top, Randy from RLP is there.
Of course.
And he's doing video.
Oh God, no.
And taking photographs. The whole goal of this thing is for me to have a good
a drummer with some cymbals and a couple.
You know what? I honestly thought, can I find someone with a fucking triangle?
I need some tambourine. Let's Stevie Nicks this shit. Like
maybe some bean cans with some rocks, some asphalt rocks in there. I'm desperate. So at this point, I go to the band leader and I go, hey man, do you think your drummer would any way at all allow us to use our drum set? I thought they had a full set here, but they do not. And you would know that because you just played, but I'm a fucking idiot. And I go, do you know? And the dude goes, I don't know. You'll have to ask him. And I go, where is he? He goes, he's over there. And he like points in the darkness.
Oh, helpful. You're like, so.
And I'm like,
which dude that I can't see?
He's like pointing in the darkness.
Just feel for him?
In a parking lot, you know.
Whoa.
So I go, okay. And I go, will you introduce me when he comes back? So, mind you, we only have 30 minutes to get set up and get on stage and go. So now it's 15 minutes into our 30-minute setup, and the dude comes back finally. And I go, are you Bob? And he goes, yeah, I'm Bob. And I go, Bob, I need to ask you for a favor. And I was like, I thought there was a full drum set here. And there's not. And I go, on top of that, I had to pay almost $200 for this drummer I have here, and there's no drum set. And he's the fourth drummer I've tried to book for this show. And the dude looked at me and goes, well, I really wasn't planning on staying. And I was like, if there's any way at all. I go, I don't have a lot of money, but it's yours. He goes, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and pay it forward. And I was like, what do you mean? What does that mean? He goes, I'm just going to let you use it. You don't have to pay me. And I'm going to stay here because apparently you're an idiot and I can't leave you alone with the drum set. And I was like, yes,
I wouldn't have either.
So the dude had just unloaded his drum set off the stage.
Oh, God.
So I tell my drummer that I just paid for, my fourth drummer, and he goes, cool. Because he's like, either way, I'm getting paid. I can play a triangle, I can sit there behind him and do jumping jacks, or I can have drums. So the other drummer, Bob, helps him get the drums on the stage, get them set up, and Bob gets us going.
Aww.
Aww.
Bob, You're such a
Yay!
Save
Yay,
my
Bob.
Bob. You are like a superhero, and if I were into
Yay,
dudes,
Bob.
I would totally be all over you.
Bob saved the day.
You can't imagine the amount of stress that I was already under because we never practiced with the fourth drummer. I had only heard him play on Instagram. Nice guy, and yeah, he could play, but I didn't know if he could he was aware of what drums were based off of what I heard, but I still didn't know if he could play. Do you know what I'm saying, Sound Animal?
Yeah.
Because there are people that you're like, oh, they know a G chord and a D chord, but can they do anything else?
Mm.
But he
Was he good?
He was good. And the cool part about it was he was smart enough to understand the dynamics. I didn't even have to tell him about it. I didn't have to go, now on this part, I'm going to sing softer. So I need you to not bang the shit out of the drums. He actually listened and dropped his volume, and we didn't finish any song together. None of the people on the stage finished the song together because I would try to cue everyone in, but the drummer just didn't know, so he would just keep going. So pretty much trash can punch all night.
Nice.
But anyway, so Bob saved the day and Alex kind of saved the day.
Yeah.
Sound Animal, I'm so sorry. I had to hear the end of that story.
Oh, no apologies needed. That was an amazing story.
Sound Animal, what have you been up to? I missed you.
I miss you too, sweetie pie.
I love her.
That's so sweet.
I got to meet her in person.
Yeah, that was so awesome.
Nothing was really open in the Bay Area still, so.
Yeah, we made do. That was fun. We walked around the sidewalks. That's a lot of what I do. I walk around the sidewalks.
Sound Animal, I have been working on a great introduction for you, but we didn't do it in the intro or now because you're already talking. So I would like to do the intro I had planned for you. Can I do that?
Over to you.
Okay. Today we are interviewing Sound Animal, an experimental California genre-defined band of one, playing a wide variety of unexpected instruments. Sound Animal is a compelling artist that delves into multiple genres. She successfully blends audio and visual work to create a unique experience only limited by the imagination of the individual.
Oh,
we present Sound Animal.
Yay. Thank you. That's really beautiful.
I even wrote some of that shit myself.
I could tell, man. That's really nice. Thank you. Well, yeah, I've been pounding the sidewalks. That's what I do.
Hey, I have a question.
Walks.
I follow you on Facebook, and I love the questions that you post. I don't always respond to them, but I make answers in my head. Do you follow her on Facebook yet? I have a lot of things in my head. It's a problem.
I follow her everywhere. That's why there's a restraining order.
So she's been making these little posts about this one random dude that she sees from her apartment every day.
Many times a day.
Have you ever introduced yourself, or is he just part of the morning tea?
It's very odd that he is somehow able to avoid me. When my housemate sees him regularly, and the guy just stands there. It's no big deal. He walks past him. It's not a big thing. But somehow I never have seen him. We're never in the same place at the same time. If my housemate didn't, and other people had not seen him, I would start to think, wait a minute, what's going on here? He's actually me, isn't he? Because
skies are so zing.
He's somehow disappears, but where does he go? When he sees me walking down the sidewalk, where does he go that fast?
But he just appears, does weird things, and then goes away.
What kind of weird things? Let's talk about weird things.
Well, I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know what his movements are from, could be anything, but I like to imagine that he believes that he's coming to this particular cactus and doing some sort of ritual to enhance the flow of the universe. That's the, like, probably the best it could be. And so I made a song about that for him, which, like, takes him on lets him live his best self through the song.
Let me ask you this. Is this one of the songs that we're going to be listening to today?
Nope.
God damn it. Got me all excited. I was like, no.
It's called Emerge, and it's got a picture of somebody emerging out of a cactus.
Nice.
And
Nice.
it's very, like, you know, Kundalini-esque. It's got this sort of snake coming down below him, and he's, you know, he's like this central core. You can't see me right now, but I'm acting out, emerging from the cactus and going up into the great beyond and down into the great below. And so, yeah, every now and then I've kind of wished I could, like, say, hey, here's the thumb drive. You might want to, like, plug it in somewhere. And it has the song and the art on there, you know, and, like, would he like that? Or then what weird thing would happen?
I love your artwork.
Yeah.
Your artwork, the stuff you do is, like, really cool.
Thank you.
I mean, not to take away from the cactus guy, but, you know, that
Cactus Man.
Right.
cactus man.
Cactus
He's coming to your town. Put on more clothing.
Yeah, my visual arts, that's always been a big thing for me. I mean, now, you know, I have help of lots of, like, digital art programs, but I've just, you know, I've used, like, Photoshop and things like that for a long time. And so that was one of my big things I felt like I was giving the world, was my visual arts. And so I was really involved in the art scene for a long time, co-owned an art gallery and was art judge for years, this international contest, and art director of magazines, and, you know, just, like, immersed. And so it was a great way to just meet a lot of people and create a lot of great projects together, like magazine issues that were combining multimedia, stuff like that. It was really fun.
Yeah, you have some cool stuff going on. I was looking at your stuff online. What is freak folk? I need a definition. And it was hard to abstain from going and finding it and classifying it, because I want to know what your classification of freak folk is. What is that?
I guess you would say, like, it came in the 1990s. It was sort of for people who were interested in making folk, but making it, you know, more unique and experimentally creative and wild and wacky. You know, it's like it's got folk elements, but it also has, you know, maybe psychedelic, maybe industrial, or, you know, it could go in all sorts of directions really with the freakishness. And it's not something I am that versed in myself, but I do some collaborations with somebody who does quite a bit of freak folk. And so I'm playing in his albums, and so they're coming out from, you know, very cool places like the Swamp Records.
That's cool, which runs into my next question. So you've released a few I'm sorry, I said the word wrong. You've released a few collaborations.
Yes, somebody appreciates that. Somebody noticed. Thank you.
And you have a robust catalog developed for movie and sync.
Mm-hmm.
At least I think. And so my favorite quote on your entire website is this. And I'm going to say the quote and then I'll ask a question. So the quote I like is, "I'm not available for writing a score that other musicians will play." They probably would go insane. And we don't want to do that. Now, do we? Or do we? So my question is, have you ever found an artist that does not suffer from some sort of mental illness?
Oh, interesting. Interesting. I mean, well, I would assume that, oh shoot, what's his name? He does all those, everybody's there. Norman Rockwell.
Mm-hmm.
Norman Rockwell didn't seem like he had a mental illness, right? Like you cannot be Norman Rockwell and have a mental illness.
Why can't you?
So there's one.
Well, I'm thinking, matter of fact, I'm thinking he has the worst illness out of all of them.
Interesting.
Because of how his artwork is displayed and the effort he puts into it to be ordinary and non-threatening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like he's suppressing something.
He's going along with the agenda and obeying the proper paradigm so perfectly, so completely. Like he almost as a person does not exist. He's a shell man.
So he is either really sarcastic.
Do you hear the coughing out there?
I hear something. Is that Cactus Man?
Yeah.
Cactus Man.
Shut up.
Yeah, he's been out there for a little while.
Well, let's go see him.
I think you should be, hey, I'm recording a podcast right now.
Cactus Man, come here. Come
Cactus
hither.
Man.
Cactus Man, come hear your song.
How you are just sitting there and he's there and you haven't said anything, because I would be that person. Yo, dude, what's your name?
He has a name. It's Cactus Man.
Cactus Man? It's like Batman. Cactus Man.
I'm ready to get into music, man.
Do it.
So what did you think of Bone Storm? Renaud?
I thought it was trippy. And there's a sound in there that I cannot quite put my finger on. It sounds like someone breathing into a fan.
Yeah. No, that's another song. I breathe into a fan in another song, and I love it, but it's not happening in that one.
What is that sound?
Ooh.
Oh, you sound like.
Can I ask my question?
Ooh. Go ahead.
So is coughing in a helicopter in this song?
Coughing in a helicopter? No, I mean, not consciously.
I mean, if you think about it, you're talking about blowing into a fan or doing whatever it is you were talking about with the fan. It's kind of, a helicopter spins like a fan.
Uh-huh.
And coughing makes noise from the mouth.
Uh-huh.
I just heard coughing in a helicopter in it. But your stuff is so crazy that I'm like, okay, I need to listen very closely, because whatever I hear is not going to be actually what I hear. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm trying to, and I keep going back to, okay, this is a cool, scary intro. Oh, the sustain of the guitar is really cool. Is that coughing? Is that a helicopter? Is that a coughing helicopter? Where does she come up with this stuff? How does she get the cough and the helicopter together? I like the song. It has a good Michael Myers feel to it.
Nice.
It's very very Halloweenish too. So I think it's good that and the title. Oh my gosh, the title's awesome. I was like, before I even listened to it, I got a bunch of visuals.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, it's a real cool title too, because it automatically takes you to something visual. Like what would Bone Storm look like?
Yeah.
Coughing in a helicopter.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Bone Storm, I was doing things like, shaking, I was using all these different percussion tools around me. Mm-hmm. And there was a wastebasket with some percussion tools in it. So I shook the wastebasket. Like that's what's going on at the beginning of it. I'm shaking the wastebasket full of percussion tools.
That must be the helicopter.
It might be. It's at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so it could be, okay, here's what you're hearing, I think. I'm shaking the wastebasket while I'm into the mic. I'm going,
Daffy? Daffy. Daffy
So
Duck just visited us.
I think that was the coughing and
I think
the
that is what we're hearing. Yes.
That is crazy. Because I'm like almost like on edge when I listen to your stuff because I'm like, because I listen to stuff pretty intently, you know, and yours like I have to ratchet up to another level because most people just use standard stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I use as little as possible because, you know, it's just how I am. So let's talk about Which Way next.
I love that one.
That one opens with a guitar.
Yeah.
So this was technically the third one I listened to. And at this point, I'm like, I'm hearing oboes, keys, the guitar, the oboe and keys and guitar trade off on the melody. And I'm like,
Really pretty.
Oh my God. Did you actually have an oboe on that song?
I wish. I played the guitar, and actually put the guitar part by itself out as a song called Noble. And then I just decided I wanted to add more to it. And so I just used my, hitting keys on a MIDI controller for an internal synth in my, in my laptop. So I did it all, that way. I may have actually used some instruments in there. Like maybe I might have used a, melodica, I may actually have used, I think I played a melodica and a flute, but I may have changed the setting on the flute so that it sounded like something other than a flute. Mm-hmm. And that could be what you're hearing with the oboe.
I think he's talking about.
I bet that's what it is.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I remember it's been a while since I made it, and I played a variety of instruments. I'm always just like grabbing a bunch of instruments.
So are you using all computer with this, or are these all instruments you can actually play? Because I know you can play drums, you can play guitar, and you can play bass.
Yeah, I play a lot of instruments. I play silver flute, play the Thai cane and the, Indian punji and Greek double shepherd flute and like a whole bunch of different instruments.
So I have a question. What's it like to be so smart? Please.
I wanted the answer to that question, not just laughing.
It's the tragedy of the misunderstood genius. You make the best music in the world and nobody listens to it.
I listen to it. I guess I'm nobody.
Yes. You, sir, are nobody. This is the tragedy of the misunderstood genius. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't feel all that smart.
Well, we're impressed by you.
We are.
Thank you. needed to be impressed by myself, because I was, I don't know, like, no, I really don't have all that many listeners, And so, I was like, okay, how can I psych myself up for the interview? And so I listened to Life, and I started like acting out, act like a director of my life, like, bum, 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 bum. Just like this big drama, because to me, that's what that song is about. It's like honoring your own life, and it's like the other one, Which Way. It's like being noble. Like, it's a lot of the music has to do with like, seeing the best in yourself and being the best self, remembering your best self, and at the same time, like, being able to do that while recognizing that, like, I don't know how to put it, but it's not about comparing yourself to what you should be, but it's like comparing yourself to
what you are.
Yeah.
Being okay with what you are.
Not comparing myself to anything, which is a weird thing.
It's kind of like being in the moment, isn't it? Where you're just.
But I feel like I was in the moment before, where I would also compare myself to what I should be.
Well, you just need to stop that, because that's not working with what I'm laying down.
I know. I'm not doing it now. I mean, I am, of course, but I say I'm not.
I like the chimey. I want to say it's a piano with an effect on it, but I'm not sure. It's like a chimey key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the way that it lays directly with that, like, dreamy vocal you have going on, it gave it a very dreamy, urethral kind of effect. What did you use to make both those tones?
The piano tone, gosh, it was just, one of the settings and the internal synth, I don't remember really the settings of much of anything. But the vocals, so that was just me singing into the laptop at 3 a.m. But
The witching hour.
Yeah. the sorry upstairs neighbor hour. I'm being as quiet as I can. And my favorite setting for the vocals on that one is called Dream Hall. Mm-hmm. So when I'm doing the mixing, really the music, making the music, so much of it is not just about the moment of creation, for me it's like so much goes into the rest of it. And I know, like, using lots of settings is your nemesis right now, but I do tend to use a lot of effects and things, and so I'll use, I create reverb throughout all the different tracks, and for vocals especially, I really like the effect of Dream Hall. But I mean, for me, okay, so Dream Hall, you do that. It's called sound design. Or space design. And so you go and it's a reverb. You go to that and you pick out of all these different rooms and halls and warp spaces and outdoor and indoor. Like, there's just, you can be in the bathroom in a prison, like wherever space you want, you pick it. And so the Dream Hall, I feel like I kind of would almost fight people over that. Like, that's mine. But yet I'm giving you this information, so watch out, people, if you see me in a dark hallway.
She's coming for you.
It's up to you, just I'm warning you,
So I did notice that there was more vocals on this song than your typical song.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering why they were so far down in the mix, because there's some cool stuff going on there, and I realized that vocals aren't your thing all the time, because to you, I think the vocals are like an accompany instrument, kind of. Mm-hmm. And so, is that why you suppress them? Because you have a cool vocal line going on there. Can you talk a little bit about that and try not to stab anyone over the effects?
I can always make a different version for you, and then I'll like really bring up the vocals. And
Aww.
yes, I'll do that and send it to you. And,
Sweet.
And because I like them too, you know, I think it's really pretty in there.
It's really good. The keyboard part is really pretty too.
Thank you. Yeah, it's yeah, I do tend to think, you know, it's very sound animal-ish, not to have an emphasis on words or the human even, you know, over other things. So in a way the instruments are like other things besides human, and sort of blending is one thing rather than it being about the vocals. You know, it's just sort of, it's like almost too much calling attention to myself in a way if it's too much about the vocals. And so, yeah, it's kind of like the wall of sounds as I do a lot of wall of sound kind of stuff, yes. You know, very saturated frequencies. So, so the voice just becomes part of that, where it kind of goes in and out. But, you know, it's not necessarily the right choice on that song. It's, you know, it could have, one thing that I like with sync licensing is that you can do a lot of versions of the same piece, you know, leave it out entirely, you could even bring up the vocals, you know, I mean, that could be one of the sync licensing versions possibly, is to, like, later in the movie, you know, you bring up the vocals and you can really hear it, but it's not like it's words, you know.
It's not words, but it's melody.
Uh-huh.
And that's, I think the melody, my favorite part of the song was kind of in the middle where you just kind of pulled back everything except for the keys or the piano. I thought that was really cool.
Thank you.
Because it was like very sparse in that section. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Because anytime I hear something I'm not expecting, it's kind of cool, because I'm like, I didn't think it was going there. I didn't know the story was going in this direction, kind of.
Yeah.
So
I like to really surprise people around in the midpoint. Partly because I look at it kind of like a narrative, like a novel or something, which is really different from how you're supposed to do it for sync licensing. You're supposed to have one emotion only. So, you know, like 2 minutes would be the longest a piece would go, and, you know, it's going to be there to emphasize this one thing, and then, you know, you don't know how it's going to change after that. So you might need like a second piece that comes after that, but, you know, it's really only one piece at a time. And, so that's one thing I'm going to be doing is, you know, breaking down various songs into their pieces and versions and links and everything, and creating more availability for movies and games. Talking to a game developer and a movie director, you know, about doing their soundtracks, and so various people coming to me, you know, suggesting that they want to do things. So I'm doing it mostly sort of reactively. But I've been really studying a lot about sync licensing. Went to a sync licensing conference all day long for a few days just recently, and it's a beautiful world, but it's not very animal, you know. It's very human. Like animal, you know, it's like if they're saying, okay, what's the beats per minute and the and the key, and, you know, what beat structure is it in? And it's like, okay, let's see now. I was shaking the trash bag this fast for this part, and then when he was playing was playing
Gollum
backwards. Backwards, the man who plays the drone ambient guitar, like in songs like in Bone Storm, it's like there is no key to what he's doing, you know, and it's not like that kind of music. And they're saying, you know, you got to do it, you got to put down a click track first and everything, right? And it's like, that's kind of different from some of the animal-like stuff I do, and yet these people like it and they're interested in their projects. And those projects, if this comes to fruition, will be very interesting, I think.
I think you just make up the key, the time signature. Just
lie to them.
Whenever they ask, just go 120. The BPM is 120 and the key is Z.
I would know.
121.22332.
There you go.
You should respond like that one time and just like include us in the CC so you can watch their reaction.
No, and then you go to 122.0345 and you go specifically on the 345. So that'd be some kind of subparticle polyrhythmic thing or something.
Ooh, subparticle polyrhythmics, yeah.
Yeah, I like your process that I'm hearing, and I kind of assumed your process is how you're talking about it, because there are rules that you do follow.
Yes, there are. Thank you.
But you're not afraid to go, oh, today this rule's going out the fucking window.
Yeah.
And you can hear that in your stuff. But I know you know how to follow the rules because you choose when to break them. And that's what I think is cool. And it's also how you strip stuff off or how you build it up. So, I mean, you're a regular musician that just wants to do whatever the hell she wants, Like the old composers, they were like, okay, I know the rules. Let me do this crazy shit.
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
And
thank you.
there is a melody and there is a rhythm to what you do, which brings me to my favorite song. Or What?
Oh, cool. Thank you.
That is my favorite song. It has a cool rhythm, almost a Native American rhythm to it.
Yes.
And then the melody sounds like it's a cross between a sitar and a didgeridoo. It's like, I don't know how you can take a wind instrument and a stringed instrument and make it one, but that's what it sounds like you did.
So, Uncle Brent, that is a great question on So What? There actually is no synth. It starts with the jam, and I'm playing the electronic drum kit. So I'm sitting on the throne, I am hitting the pads, and Wax Backwards is playing the drone ambient guitar through the Helix, whereas then I went in afterwards and added some tracks. One is me playing silver flute, and one is me playing melodica, and so they intertwine. So it would be hard for you to know which one's which necessarily, because it all sounds like the same. It's all playing its own melody. So the melody tracks in there are melodica and flute, and melodica itself is a combination of wind instrument and keyboard, right? So, and then I play the flutter tongue method. So I take off, it's a little, I don't know what you call it, like a pipe, sort of, a flexible pipe that you would normally play with, but I like to take that off and just play directly into the melodica because it's better for a flutter tongue method. So with that, you're going while breathing and playing the notes. And so that is the answer to your question. So.
listening to everything you've said, it sounds like you, even when you're done recording, you're still writing the song, and then when you're mixing it, it's like you're still creating too.
Yeah.
So that's kind of crazy, because normally when you get get to mixing, it's all done. There's nothing left but crying at that point. But with you, it's like you're still creating. So my final question is, with you, is a song ever really finished?
Well, that's when the crying part comes in. When it's like in a distributor and it's like, oh man, I really wish I could change it, but it's sort of finalized. Yeah, I don't like that.
If you keep the tracks, you can. You can go do whatever you want.
But what she's releasing out it's going out that way.
Yeah, if it's distributed, like if it's just on SoundCloud or Bandcamp, I change it a lot. I'll go in and I'll redo it, and I'm going to, go in and redo a lot of things. But in a way, I'm using the word mixing probably to mean more than just mixing, because it's, the whole sound design, producing, it all flows together, and mastering, so it's a process where I may have 80 different stems in a song that I'm working with. That's not uncommon. And so that's one reason I have a hard time remembering like what all I played and what the melody even was. It's like, oh yeah, I made a lot of melodies, and then at various times people are supposed to pay attention to whichever one they want to pay attention to, and then that's the melody. But then next time they hear it, they listen to a different instrument, and that's the melody. And it should be able to just keep going for a long time, because all the different instruments are sort of playing a melody, and you can't hear them all. And I know for some people that's going to create like an ear burnout. It's like so much that you have to pay attention to and not pay attention to. And it's like you have to make so much choices to listen to the music that it asks a lot of the listener. It's not something people are always going to be in the mood for when they just want to chill out sometimes.
Yeah, no, but it's good if you're interested in hearing. So, for example, I can never write how you write, because at some point I have to be done, because I could sit and work on something forever. But it sounds like with you, you're constantly creating the machine and rebuilding it and modifying it. It's almost like it's a Frankenstein's monster. And you just keep adding, I'm going to give him a third arm today. No, I'm going to give him a fourth leg. He's going to have 3 butt cheeks, Except it's kind of sped up, usually I will create this monster, with like so many body parts. I mean, these songs really are an outrage of body parts. Whereas normally something, it's like, okay, well, that's definitely the melody and that's the head. And, but with this one, it's like all of the arms have little heads growing off of them, and they have little arms growing off of them. And then hopefully there's
some sort of cryptid.
Yeah. Hopefully there's some quiet enough times, let you recuperate and like get your bearings, and then just like, bam, here comes all the arms shooting out again with the little heads on them going blah, 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 blah.
That's actually a pretty cool visual.
It was. It really was.
That was a cool interview. It was everything I thought it would be. She puts a lot of thought into what she does and what she says. I like that. I think, and I can feel and hear that when I listen to her music. So I'm glad we got to talk to her again, because it was too long since you last interviewed her, I think.
Yeah, it had been, and it's just really because she's so prolific. It's almost like I can't interview her enough, but I don't want to interview her so much.
No, that was a good interview. I appreciate her taking time to come and talk to us. And
that was a great interview. Thank you so much for being on this show, Sound Animal. We appreciate you. Please like, follow, subscribe to Soundflution on whatever listening platform that you are using. We are going to be in Austin, Texas at the Carousel the 26th of October. That is next month. At this point, that is like 29 days away.
Mm-hmm.
Please come introduce yourselves. Come listen to some great folk rock Americana artists. Come see me probably having a panic attack and semi-buzz.
It's going to be fun. We're going to get to see the people we've interviewed and talked to, and we're going to have some good music, and we'll have some good times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, everybody, get out there and
make some